Welcome. Today we're going to talk about how to build your social network now that you're an expat.
Social networking as an expat here in the Philippines, in Thailand, or in other expat destinations.
People were getting quite excited at that party.
It's fun to be around with them. You will see them singing, you will see them dancing, everybody is like happy. So you will also feel the vibes of happiness at that moment. If you think that socializing with other expat or foreigners in your chosen country will just give advantages to you, well, you're wrong.
You've joined us previously for the 90-day guide on how to expat. You've joined us as we talked about your first year expat housing guide. We've published the Expat Survival Guide. Today, how to maximize your social network, how to meet expats, how to make the most of your expat retirement life. And stick around, Chrissy's going to discuss the 5 advantages that your girlfriend, fiancé, or wife will gain from being exposed to other expats and their wives. Here we go. There's lots of Facebook groups for expats. You can research them while you're still in your home country and you can become super knowledgeable. My case, I kind of used YouTube to build my foundation, but now that I'm in country, those Facebook groups have a wealth of intricate, detailed knowledge. You can join online specific groups. I have a friend, he got into horticulture when he was in Manila. He ended up meeting a woman that's now his wife. From a Facebook horticulture group. So there are lots of hobby groups based in these foreign countries, and that's a great way to meet local people and other expats. Establishing friendships is very, very easy. You have so much in common. Where are you from? How long you've been in country? Where have you traveled? What's your favorite place? Where do you live? How much do you pay in rent? What's your budget? Get out and find out where these meetup groups for expats are held. Get out there and join them. Lots of affordable hobbies in these lower cost of living countries. Golf could be 1/4 of what it costs back home. Scuba could be so affordable. You know, a lot of people take these exotic trips to Thailand and the Philippines for scuba. 90% of the cost is getting there, but you're here. You could go twice a week and it can be very affordable. Motorcycle excursions. It could be very affordable to rent the equipment and pay the fees for guides and other things. Don't let the language barrier get in your way. Join language clubs. A few years ago, I planned to spend January and February in Medellin, and I was studying Spanish at home. They had a club for Colombian people who wanted to learn English, and I wanted to get better at Spanish, and I joined an online club, and it's all free, and it's organized through these online platforms. If you're religious, connecting through religion is a very easy and welcoming way to do it. So when you show up, people are very, very welcoming, and they will introduce you to their sisters and their cousins, and you could find yourself married in no time if you're not careful. But you'll make lots of friends. Attend festivals. If you're in Thailand, go to Songkran and squirt somebody and throw a bucket of water on them. If you're in Cebu City, go to Sinulog. Have some fun and just, be careful. Don't drink too much and don't be out there late at night. There's a lot of ways to socialize without breaking the bank. In Dumaguete, they have a scenic boardwalk. People tend to go out there in the evening, on the weekend especially, and promenade. In our town of Cagayan de Oro, it's more of a mall culture. You'll find people at the malls, or you'll find them at the beach. You'll find them out whitewater rafting. You'll find them in the mountains, the nearby mountains of Bukidnon. Make sure you build a support network as you get out and meet people. You're in a foreign country, you might come down with a disease, you might get dengue, you might come down with some sickness, you might need someone to help you run to the pharmacy. It's just so easy to go, hey Ed, or we have a neighbor, he's been here 34 years living on and off in Cagayan de Oro. If I'm in a pinch and I really, really need somebody who knows everything and everywhere to go and has seen the city grow, I can go ask him. He's going to know. He'll share it with me right away. I don't have to ask Google. It's nice to have somebody you can get a local recommendation from. So build out your network and feel comfortable that you're not on an island, even though you may be on an island, but you're not isolated. It's really easy to meet people as an expat because you have so much in common. You don't have to sit at the bar all day and buy drinks for bar girls and to make friends with Western men in foreign countries. You will see expats in our favorite destinations, and they will be very approachable, very friendly. They'll be from other countries, but you will have friends from Australia, New Zealand, Great Britain, Canada, France. You will be an expat with worldly connections, and you'll be wealthier for it. What about the other wives? Do many of them drink?
I don't.
Just a little, maybe?
Maybe just a little.
Yeah.
And if they will invite me to drink, I don't think if they're gonna force me if I will say no. They are not the kind of people that will force you or pressure you to conform of what they're doing.
Yeah, I've often said you're the perfect girlfriend, and when we go out to dinner and the bill comes and I don't have to pay for 3 glasses of wine, I really believe that. Has anything surprised you about the expat community?
Yes, there's a lot of new things that I learned in the expat community. Especially about the countries where they came from, and also the way how Filipinas handle their relationship with their foreigners. That's new to me because this is my first time to be in a relationship with a foreigner.
Do we use salty language?
For us Filipina, it's not normal when you use that words all the time.
We had some folks over. What was that experience like? We didn't have. We had 4 expats and an expat couple with a wife. You said you enjoyed yourself just with the one Filipina.
Well, one Filipina. So yeah, I enjoyed that time, and I enjoyed watching you that you're having fun with the other expats, and I also see in their faces that they're also having fun, and it's just so nice, to be a host of a party like that, and it feels good.
Do you think there's a big difference? Like we have a friend that lives in Dumaguete that's married to a British man. Do you think there's a difference if we lived in a place like Dumaguete? There'd be a much more diverse selection of potential expat friends?
Yes, probably. Because, if you're gonna compare a small group to a big group, there will be a lot of things that you can't find in a small group,
Right.
So in a small group, you will know these people, you will learn about them, but in a big group, there are chances that you will only know or learn person's character or personality, few of them, but not everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? For me, I think if there were 100 expats at a party, I would just gravitate to the people that looked like me, came from my background, were most similar to me. And I would never really become friends with people that just were kind of edgy or maybe outcasty, or just came from a country that was so different. The background, maybe they had beards and drove motorcycles, and I would just never become friends with those people. Here in Cagayan de Oro, there aren't that many expats to choose from there are plenty and more than enough, but there aren't this large selection. And I find myself getting to know people that I didn't know in my past. It's kind of interesting, and you open yourself up to, not be judgmental and not label, and just really experience the person and learn what is really unique about them.
Would you like to be in a small group than in a big group?
Having 3 or 4 good friends usually will do the trick for me. And we're working, so having time, but we had some friends over last night that are not working. They're fully retired. One friend, his wife runs a restaurant and coffee shop, but he golfs and he's really active, and he goes so he walks with other expats in the morning. So some of the expats drive to his location and they go walking. I think he golfs once or twice a week with some expats. We went out to dinner with him and his wife a couple of weeks ago. He came over here. He's very social. I don't think he socializes every single day, but between the walking and the golfing and getting together with the expat groups and expat friends in town, I think that's a pretty realistic picture of an expat lifestyle. The wives, are they mostly from Cagayan de Oro? Is that why most of the expats are living here, do you find?
Yes, I think that is one of their big reasons why they're here in Cagayan de Oro City, because their wives came from here.
So I want to tell a story about meeting Jerry. We have a friend. We were in town 1 week, and one of the things we like about living in Cagayan de Oro is they have a store called S&R. It's like the Costco of the Philippines. There was a Western man there, and I mistakenly thought I had seen him in the local, we belong to a local Cagayan de Oro expat group. And I think, and we looked at some of the photos of the people who go to the meetings before we joined and before we went to our first meeting. So I saw Jerry, and I asked Jerry if he was that guy. He actually is the administrator of Expats in Mindanao. It is a Facebook group with like 1,500, 2,000 members. And we talked and we got along great, and we exchanged Facebook contact information, and I became his Facebook friend. And he lives an hour and a half out of CDO and drives all the way in for the S&R, and he's up in the mountains camping, and he's riding horses. I get to see his life. Well, Chrissy and I were back, we go once or twice a month. We were back in the Costco of the Philippines, and there's Jerry and his wife. And you know, we bumped right into him again, and we stopped, and Chrissy met his wife and became Facebook friends with his wife. And that's kind of like how easy it is to become friends with expats and Westerners, or people that are here like you. It's just so much easier. Hey, you know, you're a foreigner here in the Philippines in our case, or in Thailand in your case maybe. Where are you from? You know, you have so much in common as a expat. It's very easy to meet friends. We had some people over yesterday, I mentioned, and one of the people, I met him 2 weeks ago in line to pay the water bill. I'm 20 minutes in line, because that's the way it is here, and there's a Westerner right in line in front of me. We started talking. He's been here 18 months, didn't really join any of the other expat groups previously, and you know, we've become Facebook friends. We text a lot, and he came over with his wife for dinner last night and met some of my other expat friends. It's just that easy when you're an expat in a foreign country. So in addition to the online help that you can just bump into people. If you're in a housing neighborhood, we had a man over last night that lives in our subdivision from England. He's actually moved to Cagayan de Oro over 30 years ago. And he's lived here on and off as he's worked around the world. But he lives just 5 houses away. So if you get into like a guard-gated subdivision, you're going to find a few foreigners living in those better neighborhoods. Expats tend to congregate in specific quality housing developments, or they kind of one referral leads to another referral, and next thing you know, you're one of 4 or 5. The other thing, Chrissy, is we have a bar here in town and restaurant called KL Clubhouse. That is kind of the hangout for the expats every Wednesday afternoon. It's kind of, people will tell you as soon as you get in town. The Filipinos know about it. They'll tell you. Your realtor will tell you. She'll know about it. There's going to be places like that in town you can quickly learn about. And if you're the kind of person who likes to socialize in person, well, you're in luck, because there's always going to be a circumstance like that. Yeah.
So, as an expat here in the Philippines, how does it feels like to be around with other expats? Did you feel like you feel happy, or you feel comfortable, or you will feel like very, you know, you will feel comfortable?
Yeah, it felt awesome. You know, I've said this before, like I retired at 62, and my friends, you know, being divorced and being retired, it's like the double whammy, you know, because once you get divorced, your married friends, they just kind of disappear into the ether. And your work friends are still working, or they've gone and retired in other locations. And so now your circle of friends gets thinner and thinner and thinner. And I was not one, you know, I used to have friends at the gym. I would go 5 or 6 days a week to the gym, but then during COVID, I wasn't going to the gym anymore, and I lost track of those friends. They weren't the kind of friends where, you know, you phone them and you go out together and do things. They were the friends you meet at the gym, friends. So all of a sudden I found myself like kind of isolated in the West. My retirement, when I wasn't traveling, I had I was in a relationship, I had a travel partner, but when I was home, I thank God for YouTube. I used to travel the world virtually. I used to love the travel vlogging channels. I used to really research the Philippines and Thailand as a possible retirement. I power watched YouTube, I'm telling you. And thank God, I spent 3-4 hours a day, I think, watching YouTube when I wasn't traveling 5 months a year. So I just missed, my best friend lives in across the country. My other best friend lives in California. I didn't have a golf buddy. I'm not a golfer. I didn't have a poker group. Chrissy, I've told you this before. I thank God for books on tape. There's an app called Audio Books, and I found a course called The Great Courses. And they have college courses, and so before I would travel to Egypt, I took like 48-hour lecture on Egyptology by a college professor. And before I went to Turkey and Greece, I took a course on the fall of the Ottoman Empire. I took a course on Julius Caesar and a course on Augustus. And before going to France, I studied the French Revolution, but they were like college courses. And that used to sustain me. I used to walk every morning for an hour, hour and a half, and sometimes in the evening, and I'd listen to these college courses. I just found that was a substitute for the type of friendship that we've found here. Now that we're here, and we're working, so we don't have as much of a time, but it's really not hard to make friends here, and we have friends, and we get invited places, and we've been invited, for holiday things, and it's really easy. You almost have to go out of your way not to meet other expats, I think.
So, what do you think? Do you think there is a help, or there's a help of your stay here in the Philippines meeting other expat, or it is okay if you don't have any expat friends?
No, I think. It's a double-edged sword. Some people, they want to get away from the West. They're tired of people fighting over politics. They don't want to have to talk about politics with everybody they meet at a coffee shop. Everybody's angry and, tribal, you're blue, you're red. They don't want any of that nonsense. And for the most part here, most expats leave that alone. And we never get involved in local politics. And I think that but there is a little bit of a relief of an excitement of being in a foreign country. Personally, I'm not sure if I lived in a place like Dumaguete, and when we went to Dumaguete, every coffee shop was just full of expats. It was weird being around so many expats. You don't really stand out. I kind of like being unique. And I like experiencing all of the foreign culture. So if you start doing everything, if you live next door to, Westerners, and you only socialize with Westerners, but between your family and the expat community, I'm quite satisfied. It makes a very rounded experience. We interact with lots and lots of Filipinos. So when I'm with the expat, just last night we had a friend over, and he told story after story about multiple marriages that he'd been in, and I heard stories from our British friend, and I heard stories from our new friend from Oklahoma, and I don't get that if I'm just around Filipino people, and I really didn't get that kind of friendship back in Arizona before I moved here. So I'm happy with what I found. The other thing that we have here is the online social networks. Where to buy items, where to travel, how to travel. Before I moved here, Chrissy, I did not use the Facebook groups for expats. Primarily, I wasn't sure if I was going to end up in Thailand or Ecuador or Philippines. I hadn't pulled the trigger. I was watching YouTube, so I was educating myself solely on YouTube. Now that I'm here, and also because we make content, and I get some content ideas from these expat groups, there is a wealth of experience and knowledge in these Facebook groups. So people will say, hey, I'm coming to the Philippines for 10 days. I land on November 15th. What's the weather? What's the clothing I should bring? Do I need an umbrella? Where I want to see these 4 cities. Where would you go first, second, third, fourth? 150 people chime in and tell them their experience. There's expat groups for travel, expat groups for meeting Filipinas, expat groups just in general. If you can fight through the trolls, because no matter what people ask, people just they tear into you like you're an idiot, or don't you know how to use Google? But if you can just ignore the 10% of the population that love to hate on you, there are the other 90% are giving good advice, like what medical insurance, what renter's insurance, you know, where would you buy a car, how would you meet a girl, where did you meet a girl, I've got this situation, my wife presented me with this strange set of facts, I don't know who to trust, my brother-in-law says he can make money if I loan money for a truck. Every scenario you can think of, people are asking in these groups, and it's a tremendous resource, and it's all over the Philippines. But there are local groups too. If you're in Mindanao, like Jerry runs this Mindanao group, you can ask Mindanao specific questions. If you're in Cagayan de Oro, you can ask specific Cagayan de Oro questions. You can meet these people. They will offer you help. I think everybody watching this is interested. They're curious. They want to have a more fulfilling retirement, not just with a beauty by their side, but friends and family and social activities. They want to do their hobbies, they want to be passionate, and they want to get out there. And you know, retirement is not to just sit in the easy chair with the remote control in your hand. Retirement is to get out there and see the world and make the most of it. It's not my philosophy, but it's one I like to live by. Make the most of the moment. Practice mindfulness, and as Chrissy likes to say, take action. Right, Chrissy? Yeah. Chrissy, you gave advice on our last video. It was the last 15 seconds. I'm not sure everybody heard it. What was your advice to expats?
Take an action, because in taking an action, that is where your journey will start. Yeah. By taking an action. Yeah. If you think that socializing with other expat or foreigners in your chosen country will just give advantages to you, well, you're wrong. Socializing and getting together with other expats and expats' wives will also give advantages to your partner. Number one is the cultural exchange. I only have a limited cultural knowledge, so the opportunity for me to socialize with other expats will also give me learning and knowledge about the other culture. Number two is support network. So building connections with other expats and their wives will create a support system. And the only person that can give me the advice are those persons that will understand my situation, and they're also in the same kind of relationship. Through social gathering, your Filipino, your partner will be able to share common experiences. We will be able to open our common experiences and also share to them the struggles and the challenges that we're facing as an expat partner. Number four is language comfort. Every time we go socialize with other expats and their wives, I will feel comfort of using my own language because I know that their wives can understand me. Number five is networking opportunities. For example, you're gonna look for a place where you wanna live with your partner. Socializing with others will give an idea where to live and what kind of place should permanently reside.
And when you get here, take an action. Don't sit back and wait for people to find you. Join those social groups. Find where the foreigners congregate. Find out what restaurants and what bars they meet at every week. Go to the golf courses and meet them. You don't have to sit around the bar drinking. There's plenty of opportunities. Thanks, everybody. Till next time.
Only here from Fly Me to the Philippines. See you in our next video.